Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Sorry that I look like a mess. My hair's all over the place and my camera's off center and there's just a lot going on. As you can see, I am back in the hospital and this vlog was supposed to come to you while I was home, and I got home about like 3 weeks ago. So I had plenty of time to do it, but I just I didn't have plenty of time to do it because there was a lot of projects I was starting at home, trying to clean out my room, and I can only do little by little. And then there's school. I had a lot of schoolwork to do, which I got to get back to today. Daily Bible studies. There was just other stuff that kept getting in the way of me filming. But now, I'm here and I wanted to get it now because I'm like, let me get this video in before I go back home again and then have to explain all of this as well. So I had gone home for a little while. It feels so much shorter than 3 weeks, so much shorter than that. But I went home for a little while and I was doing really good. And then all of a sudden, my edema started to flare up. And edema, if you don't know, is like when your leg starts to fill with fluid. It can be your leg, your body, your face. Sometimes my face will get it really bad. But for me, it's usually in my legs and in my feet. So they get pretty big. Sorry, I thought I had saved the definition for you guys so that I could better explain it, but all I'm seeing that I saved is recipes that I wanted to try, which is another thing. There were all these recipes that I wanted to try and stuff, so I was waiting until my Social Security money came in, and then I was gonna go to the grocery store and pick a meal and do like something that either I've never had before and wanted to try, or that I have had before and wanted my family to try. Like tater tot casserole was something I was planning on doing, and my family, my little brother, they've never tried that stuff, but like my sister loves tater tots, and can't really go wrong with that one. But anyways, yeah, I had finally been released. I was still coming to clinic twice a week, but I was home. I was happy. I was changing my sheets, getting back on my feet, back on my routine, all set. And then yesterday, the day before yesterday, I kept like hoping and praying and trying everything I could not to have to come back into the hospital and to just have a good old clinic visit and then they send me home, because part of my issue was, aside from my edema flaring up so bad, is that I have some kidney issues, and the way to help that is to deal with your creatinine, and my numbers were getting higher and higher. So the visit before this last one I was supposed to have yesterday, my doctor had told me if this number doesn't go down and improve, we're gonna have to put you in the hospital. So I put myself on this creatinine diet. Oh, by the way, the creatinine, I do have the definition for this one. The creatinine is a chemical waste byproduct produced by the body's muscle action. So the majority of creatinine in the body is a natural substance called creatinine. It passes from the muscles to the kidney via blood and is eliminated by the kidneys via urine. Increased creatinine levels in the blood indicate that the kidneys cannot remove toxins due to renal disease. And there's just some more about that there. Also, side note, sorry that there's no light behind me, but this light right here, when I had it on, was super bright and blinding, and it just wasn't working. So, anyways, back to the story. I had this creatinine, and I started looking up everything, every which way that I could lower it enough to get to Tuesday so that it was low enough that I could go home and then continue keeping a lot of that in so that I could keep it low. And there were a lot of, like, there's a lot of good things. Like, you can have apples and clementines, peaches, blueberries, lots of fruits and stuff. But there are fruits you can't have as well. And then there's a lot of things. You're not supposed to really have a lot of red meat. You have to drink a lot of water. I had read that chamomile tea was actually good for lowering the levels, and I happen to like to drink tea at night anyways. So I was drinking chamomile tea every night, even if I was at that point where it was like, I don't want to get out of bed. I just want to do my journal and lay here and just, that's it. But no, I went and I got my chamomile tea, I drank my tea, and then I elevated my feet super high, because when you do that, your feet are supposed to be above your heart level when you're laying down. And so the only way I could do that comfortably, sorry, hiccup, was if I raised my feet super high so that I could still have some support on my back and head, because laying flat like that worked okay, but it would give me tons and tons of pain. So yeah, I was trying to get this diet, avoid going to the hospital. My mom had put me on bed rest, and so I went to my room. I was gonna lay down, I was gonna put my feet up, and I had tossed something into the trash can, but it missed. So I went to pick it up, and next to me was this box with like a stack of books and a jewelry box on it. And I wasn't all the way into that corner because I was halfway out, because part of me was in front of that file cabinet and the other part was reaching behind. And I guess I just hit that box the wrong way, and down came the books and the jewelry books on my leg and my foot. And, you know, it kind of felt like, you know, when you drop something on your foot and you're just like, oh, that hurt. So I went to sit down and I looked down, and my leg has 2 spots on it where the skin is just hanging off. It's just dead. And then I noticed my sock was dripping blood. So I took my sock off, and there are some ugly scars there. So Bella, my sister, well, I had started to try to clean it up myself because I was hoping maybe there was a way I could do it and, you know, not have to tell anybody about it, which is bad, I know, but the hospital sucks. But anyways, my mom had come to check on me, and she's like, what happened? And I'm like fighting back tears and stuff, trying to clean this up. And she's like, hi, Brittany, what did you do? And so she calls Bella, and Bella gets some wipes and helps me to like clean up the area. Before they had come in, I had grabbed some soap and water, and I was kind of rinsing them out. But then they came in, and Bella kind of wiped around because it was dripping really bad. And then she noticed just like some clear fluid coming out. And she was like, is that supposed to happen? And I was like, well, no, because my body should be closed and shouldn't be leaking like this. But at the same time, yes, because that's the creatinine leaking out of my body and out of my edema. So, you know, we kept cleaning it, and then finally we got a hold of, because I had just these little gauze things that weren't really going to be of much help anyways. So we finally got a hold of some bigger pieces and some actual gauze. And my mom was calling the doctor, and she was like, well, do you want to go today, or do you want to just wait for your appointment tomorrow? And I'm like, well, obviously it's me being me. I want to wait for the appointment tomorrow, but that's not a good idea, right? And she's like, Britt, you're an adult now. You can make those decisions. And I was like, well, first of all, I hate being an adult. I'd rather have you drag me kicking and screaming to the hospital instead of me having to make the choice. But she walked away while she was on the phone still. And then she came back and she was like, well, what do you want to do? Because they said we can take you right now, but right now they're just going to have to hold you in ETC because they don't have a bed for you. And they're just going to clean it, wrap it, and see where to go from there. And I was like, you know what? Let's just go. My suitcase is already packed anyways. My stuff is ready. Let's just go. So Bella helped me pack up the rest of my suitcase because she took out the clothes I had in the laundry and stuff. I had just finished washing them, and she put them in there for me as best she could, and basically like sat on it to close it. But she helped me with that, and then I got together my backpack stuff because with something like this, I don't know how long I'll be gone. And, you know, my mom can't constantly be coming, especially since right now she has to drive Sherlyn to college twice a week. She has to make sure Sebastian's off to school. Because by that time of the day, you know, Bella's already gone for school. Dad's working already. And then, you know, Sherlyn's getting ready for her classes and stuff. And yeah, she could help, but it's just easier for us to do it this way. So, yeah, Bella had packed up my suitcase. I packed up my bag with like my game systems and all my schoolwork so that I could keep doing my schoolwork. And then my purse has like my book. I put my iPad in there. Made sure to have my chargers for sure. And then we drove down to City of Hope because they told us we couldn't go to another hospital. It had to be City of Hope. So we drove down to City of Hope. I think we got here around 9 because the books falling and stuff went down around 5:30, and I think we left the house around 6 something. And there wasn't too bad traffic or anything, although I got to admit I slept through most of the ride. But we made the trip to City of Hope, and I have these little slipper things that I like to wear when my feet get really big because it's easy just to slide them on. I don't have to squeeze my feet into anything. There's no pain. You just put them on. And by the time we got here, one shoe, the left shoe where my foot injuries are and stuff, was so saturated with blood. Every step I took would leave a blood trail, literally. So we got to ETC, and we had to wait for a little bit, and then they took us back, and we took my shoes off right away. And then, you know, everybody wanted to keep wrapping and unwrapping to look at it and talk about it. And of course, each time they did that, it would hurt more and more. But, you know, I just bit my tongue and didn't say anything. I just let them do their thing and then rewrap. And I would finally relax. And then the next person would come to do it all over again. So, you know, we went through that. And my mom sat with me until about 2 in the morning down in ETC in those horrible lobby room chairs. She sat with me while Dad slept on a bench in the parking lot. And I mean, who does that? You know, that just... Anyways, she had to go around like 2 o'clock because she had to get the kids to school the next day. Anyways, like I said, Sherlyn had to be taken to college, and there was a lot of stuff just going on. So she left around 2 in the morning with Dad. Luckily, they both made it home safe. And then, I couldn't really rest as much. I was uncomfortable with my leg, and now I was by myself, so I was kind of panicking, and I hadn't had my anxiety med in a while, and I had them with me, but I know better. You're not supposed to take medications like that when you're in the hospital or in ETC or anything like that. So I had asked for some Ativan to help me calm down. And they gave me some, and then I kind of relaxed for a little bit and kind of dozed in and out for a little bit. And then I woke up and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to turn the TV on. Maybe the noise will help. Maybe I can just watch something for a little bit. It's already 4 in the morning. And then as soon as I went to turn on the TV, transport came for me. So transport came to get me at 4 in the morning yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. And, they came for me. They brought me up to the 3rd floor, pediatric floor, where my pupils are. And, we got situated into the bed and all of that. And they checked a couple more times, but then they let me sleep for a little bit. But then around like 7 or 8, the flood of doctors were coming in. They were all over the place. Everybody, they wanted this, and they needed to talk to this person for this, and they weren't sure what they were going to do yet because they hadn't talked to the full team yet. And I'm like, well, why does everybody keep coming in here if you haven't discussed it yet? You have no idea what you're going to do. But anyways, there's like a gash on my foot, which, by the way, I will be adding these images to the end of this video. So I'll put up a little disclaimer. And if you're not good with blood or wounds like that, feel free to end the video there, because, yeah, I don't want anyone getting uncomfortable or getting sick or anything like that. But anyways, there's a gash on my foot that they were discussing what to do. They can't stitch it because my skin is so thin that even if they did stitch it, it would just break apart and completely ruin the skin more. Which, by the way, yes, it is that fragile skin that caused me to get such deep wounds. Somebody else, it probably would have been like maybe one cut and then just a bunch of bruises everywhere. But, so yeah, we have that one. And they were talking about how they can't stitch it. And I was like, well, then wrap it up and go away, please. And they were like, well, we got to clean it with water periodically. So they'll come in every now and then and squirt some saline into it, cleaning it up, cleaning it out. But yeah, that lower one was the one that's been giving me the hardest time, because at home it was just dripping everywhere. And then, from my shoe, you can tell it was dripping everywhere. I'm telling you, my shoe was soaked. It was like I had stepped in a rain puddle, but this was a puddle of blood. So, I did that. And then they were like, okay, well, we're just going to have to tape it with some steri strips. And I started crying, because it's bad enough that when everybody comes in, they take that wound and they kind of push it together. And it hurts a lot when they do that. So, there is that situation. So I had Yosien, one of the nurses here. I think she's a charge nurse or something. But each time I went through something like that, I would have her come in here and she'd sit with me and she'd put her arms around me and she'd hold my hands while I wept. And, in the end, I guess it wasn't that bad. But I've been getting really bad, really high anxiety levels lately. And I just needed that extra support. I needed that person. So she helped a lot with that. And every time they had to come and do something, there was Yosien. And then, I had this like scar on my leg from where I had rubbed my leg across my other leg too fast, and it kind of looked like rug burn. And then it turned into a bruise, and then now it's into a scab, which for the most part has been falling off. And I told them that, but they were talking, and you know how doctors talk, they whisper like this, like you can't hear them. But they said it might be fungal, which I was like, great, something else wrong with me. But they had to take a biopsy, which means they had to put lidocaine in me. And I wouldn't let them do that until Yosien was back. And again, it wasn't that bad. Usually lidocaine shots hurt really bad. They sting and burn. But this one wasn't too bad. But feeling the pressure and stuff, it did cause quite a bit of my nerves and anxiety. So having her in here really helped me a lot. I really needed that. So, you know, now they have those steri strips on the big one on my foot. There's a covering from where they took the biopsy. And then the rest of it is just kind of packed with like wound covering and stuff, because the wound team did come and everything. So it's packed with the wound covering and another piece of like gauze on top. And, you know, they're saying that those ones, we're just going to have to monitor them, and we're just going to have to let them heal. Which, to me, sounds like, oh, you're in for a long stay. Which really sucks, because at first they were like, oh, if we can just stitch this up, we can send you home tomorrow. But they can't stitch it, because my skin's too thin. Of course, it would be me who gets attacked by children's books, Disney books, bleeds everywhere, and then has skin too frail, fragile, and thin to even be able to just sew it together or suture it. Except she did do a couple sutures where she did the biopsy, so maybe my skin's a little tougher on my legs than it is on my feet. But I'm not sure. So, yeah, that's where we're at now. And then, like I said, I was supposed to do a home vlog and talk to you guys about how I was getting back on routine. I was getting up at a certain time in the morning, having breakfast, showering, maybe doing a quick kitchen wipe down from the night before. And then I would, you know, take some time with my morning coffee, doing my daily crosswords, maybe a little bit of my daily Spanish lesson, you know, stuff like that. And then by 9 o'clock, I was ready to start my school. And I usually worked on that from 9 until 11. And then 11 was like clean time. Make sure the fridge is empty of the old foods. Make sure the pantry is organized like it's supposed to. Which, by the way, I organized that pantry so nicely. I wish I had taken a picture. Maybe I should have my mom take a picture. Because I just know when I go back, it's going to be destroyed. Especially since this is clearly not a one-night stay. So that's really going to suck, because I put in a lot of hard work, literally sweat and time into that. So, but I know it's already going to be messed up. I know the fridge probably already is messed up. It's just, it's such a bummer. Like, I'm trying here to make things look nice. Like, for instance, I organized the silverware drawer, right? Next day, it was like a tornado hit or something. There was stuff everywhere. And I'm like, look, there's a spot for everything. Forks, spoons, knives. And then we have this like blue set of silverware that has that in that area. And then I'm like, okay, and then look over here. Cups up here. Down here is just measuring cups. Doesn't need to be anything else. But every time, it always gets pushed back, pushed to the side. And for a while, I was getting it because my mom was like, well, we need to give Sebastian another chore, and he can, do that. And I'm like, yeah, but he can't reach properly. And then it makes a mess of everything that I'm doing. So I was like, no. I won't wash the dishes because, Shirley needs to do that. But I will put the dishes away. Please, let me put the dishes away. I have organized this. It didn't take me that long, It's simple. It's a silverware drawer and a couple cups and measuring cups. But, it's like if you cleaned your room and then somebody came in and threw toys and books and stuff all over the floor and then just left it there. And then you had to clean it up again. That's how I feel about that stuff, which, by the way, that was a true scenario because that happened to me once. And guess who had to clean it up? Me and my sister, even though we had nothing to do with it. So, anyways, it was like, there's so many chores a little boy can do. Like, he helps Bella put bags back in the trash cans when she's doing the trash, or take trash out of the trash cans and put them next to the big trash. Or he can start learning how to fold his own clothes. There's just so many things. Please don't take the things that I think it makes it look nice. And then, there's always the issue with the pantry. I'm like, literally this time I put it so that you can see every label and where every single thing is supposed to go. And stuff still gets thrown in there and messy. I'm like, I get, like, you're being lazy and you just want to throw it in there. But it's not that hard to look and go, oh, there's 2 jars of jelly right here. So this jar of jelly must go back right there. Or like when you take stuff out of the fridge. Oh, I took the ham out of the drawer. So when I'm done, I should put it back in the drawer. Right? But anyways, sorry, that's my little rant for the day. So yeah, I had little projects like that I was doing at home, and there was some other ones I wanted to take on. Like, I want to fix the container cabinet we have. I want to fix the plate area we have. And yes, I know I can't do it all at one time. I may not even be able to do one of the tasks all in one day. I get it. I gotta pace myself. But, once those things are done, it's, even if people don't say thank you flat out, it's nice to feel some appreciation about things being done. Like, I like to go through the kitchen in the morning and wipe it down with a fresh rag, fresh Fabuloso and everything, so that when anybody comes out, you can smell that it's clean and it looks clean. Yeah, I picked up all the dishes and now they're all in the sink, but now it's all right there. All you got to do is wash it. It's not that hard. And sometimes, yes, I do get tempted to wash the dishes because when there's a full sink sitting there and you've walked by it like 20 times, do the dishes. Don't give people a hard time about it, please. Like, just do it. Or the trash is overflowing, but you keep walking by it. Oh, I'm busy. Busy doing what? If you're actually busy, like you've got a science project to do in 3 weeks and you can't figure out what you're going to start it on and you're freaking out about that, okay, that's legit. I get it. But when you're busy is, oh, all of a sudden I'm helping Sebastian with this homework. Oh, I'm watching TikTok. That's not even an excuse. It's just something I've heard people say to my mom in the past. And it's not right, Do your stuff. And I mean, You know, obviously, I'm not going to say anything about it to them. They're not my kids. I will, however, rat them out to my mom. So, you know, but it was good to be home. Even with that stuff, it was good to lay in my bed at night, drink my tea in my own bed at night, wash my sheets, put on whatever new sheets I've decided, look at my closet, have different clothes to wear instead of the same 7 outfits every week. And the only thing you can switch up is, oh, I wore this one last Monday, so let's wear it Wednesday instead. You know, now I had a variety. And again, I was home. I was with my sisters. I could hear them laugh. I was with Sebastian, and I could hear him laugh, and I could play around with him. Same with my parents. I was around them. I was good. I could have visitors. You know, it was a good place to be in. And like I said, for this creatinine thing, I was trying everything. The diet, you know, I was avoiding certain stuff. Dad had just bought a box of like those little bags of chips, and I was like, no, I can't have that. That's too much sodium. I'm not supposed to have that much sodium. That's what's keeping my legs all puffed up and stuff. And there was a lot of other stuff I turned down too. My mom was like, she's on a diet. She wants to make this work. And I was like, yes, I am. So please be supportive. And for the most part, they were. I don't think anybody was like, oh my God, you're going too far or anything like that. They probably thought it, but they didn't say it. So I appreciate that. So, you know, I could make my own breakfasts or any of my own meals. I was getting back to my meal prep, everything. And to think, if I had just been more careful with those books or ignored the trash for the time being, none of this would have ever happened. And, you know, maybe I would be home right now. Maybe my levels would have gone down enough. But I put myself in the hospital, so I'm sorry. I put in so much time and prayer and effort, and all I did was get myself hospitalized. And like I said, we don't know how long it's going to take because they can't just stitch up my wounds or anything. They can't do it like that with my skin, of course. My skin. My body, of course. Sorry, that squeaking in the background you keep hearing is Jenny. She's the cleaning custodian lady. Sorry, I'm trying to get rid of the tears and refocus myself. But, you know, I was getting back to journaling. I was getting back to being on track with my Bible studies and my reading. I was making sure I was reading and as much as I could. And, you know, my schoolwork, starting my transfer progress to a new college, you know, talking to the right counselors, getting everything done. And then, like 2 days later, I ripped my leg open, literally. Like I said, I'll show it at the end of this video, and now there's like no definite plan of anything. So I'm just kind of waiting for the doctors to round so I can at least get an estimate. You know, I don't want to be here for another month. So anyways, that's about all I've got for you guys for this vlog. As stuff happens, hopefully I'll actually make these vlogs on time and I can get them out for you. But once again, thank you guys so much for watching and following me on my journey. And I've said it before and I'll say it again because I really am working on it. I'm doing the layout for my different cancer events, from being diagnosed, going to the hospital the first time, talking about chemo for the first time, all of that. so that I can do it in order for you guys. And hopefully we can get back to that soon, since that was the whole reason I started this channel. But otherwise, again, thank you all. Thank you all for watching, sticking with me, especially to the end of this quite lengthy video and my tears. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye-bye.